So Penny just finished watching the second season of The Sopranos, her favorite show of all time, according to the last video. Yeah, we'll just go point by point about what happened in the season and just give your overall thoughts. So I guess we'll start out with the season finale, which is Funhouse. It's the fever dream he has while he has food poisoning. Dreams become like a big thing in The Sopranos. There's a lot of dream episodes in it. So what do you think of this one? Like,
it's weird, but I think it's Tony's subconscious.
Yeah, he's grappling with his conscience, like his deep-seated, like, knowing that pussy is a rat, really, right? I mean, he gives Silvio and Polly, he gives them promotions, he doesn't give...
Is pussy a rat or a fish?
You know I've been working with the government, right, Tom? Fuck. You passed me over for promotion, Tom.
Well, he's sleeping with the fishes after Funhouse, so...
That's sad.
Yeah, and then it leads up to the death of Pussy on the boat. So, are you sad to see Pussy go?
Don't say it so many times.
Pussy? I won't have to say it anymore after this.
Pussy!
All right, okay. Don't get us in trouble on YouTube.
You said it like 5 times.
Okay. So, are you sad to see him go? Like I thought he was pretty sympathetic. I mean, he had the scenes where he kind of struggled with
He's not a bad
betraying
person.
Tony. Yeah, I mean, they're all bad people. They're all pretty bad people. It's admitted.
I don't know where you get that from. But you kind of, as soon as you find out that he is like working with the FBI, you kind of you knew that he will go.
Yeah, I mean, he killed that one dude he saw him talking to. Well, the guy wasn't sure if the guy knew he's a cop, but
fake Elvis.
Yeah, the fake Elvis dude. He killed him, and then I don't know. I mean, he's kind of an asshole. Like even the way he treated his wife. Like
any of them treat their wife good.
Well, I'm just saying they're not good. Okay, but yeah, and then he has that scene with AJ during his I don't know. It's like kind of like what Jewish people do for teenagers, kind of like their celebration. And he's kind of like looking back at how good of a guy Tony is, and he gets has a guilt trip. I thought it was a good scene.
It's not like he had plenty of options. Right? Yeah. It's either this or he's like jail forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it's understandable that he chose to give them information, and he did struggle on what to give and how much to give and blah blah blah. And as soon as I know that he is the informant, I know that he will be let go at some point. So I'm already like mentally preparing myself. You
gotta get in the Sopranos lingo and say he's gonna get whacked.
He's gonna get wiped.
Whacked.
It's
not wiped.
It's the same thing.
Okay, so a couple new characters: Janice, Tony's sister, and Richie, who just came out of jail, who is the brother of Jackie Aprile, who was the boss that died in the first season. What do you think of Janice? First of all,
I actually didn't hate Janice at first.
Yeah.
Like when he show up, he's just like some chick from Seattle that
Parvati.
That drinks seaweed soup, okay?
You would like seaweed soup.
I do. I grew up drinking seaweed soup. It's good for you. But I didn't hate her at first. Like, she also didn't show her true self at first. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, when did you think she showed her true self where your opinion ever changed?
Is when she is eyeing on mom's property.
Yeah. She's like a vulture.
Yeah.
Taking at the bones.
Like taking down the for sale sign. I guess from that point, it really only went worse.
Yeah, and then I like the Ada Turturro. I like her performance. I mean, she
Ada Turtle?
Ada, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turturro. Okay, but I thought she did a great job as Janice, like making her kind of likable, but then kind of like an opportunist, and especially when it comes to Richie. So, what do you think about Richie? Because they kind of their storylines kind of converge in this season.
Richie, at first I don't hate Richie that much because he like did all those years for the gang.
Yeah.
So it's like at least respectful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
but he did his time. He wasn't a rat like Pussy and so many others. I mean, there's so many rats that you find out later.
What?
Yeah.
But I feel like he is very ambitious, but his ability or is not there.
He's old school. Like, he's been in prison for 10 years and things have changed. Like, they can't just be all out in the open like they were because the FBI is like breathing down their neck. And he thinks he's owed something, really. I mean, he is the brother of the boss. He thinks he should be the boss.
He should. What do you?
Yeah. I mean, he's too much of a hothead, first of all.
This thing don't like who's the boss. It doesn't go with bloodline. Okay, it's not based on bloodline. Obviously,
Well, no,
yeah.
but he's like older and stuff, and I don't know. He just doesn't think Tony's like up to the task, I guess, because he's always busting his. He's not, and that's the thing with The Sopranos. There's always like psychotic hothead, and
they don't end up well.
yeah.
At least
like
so
Ralphie
far.
Silveretto's probably going to be the next one, and and so on. There's the iconic part where he gives Tony the jacket.
What's this? What's this? It's the jacket. The jacket. The jacket.
And then Tony's like, oh yeah, and he like fucking gives it to his maid's husband, and
It's just a shitty thing to do.
But Tony does a bunch of shitty things. So, but
somebody can, whatever. Somebody can understand.
there was, Janice and Richie.
The power couple.
Yeah, the power couple until Richie slaps her around and fucking kills them. He was trying to overthrow Tony before that, trying to get Junior on his side. Junior didn't go with him. He just kind of like told Tony because he couldn't get another capo to turn with him. He's like, he's a fucking loser. That's what Junior said. So
I think Richie wasn't like that ambitious initially. I think he, like Janice said a lot of things that got into his head that led to, whatever. I don't think he would even like start like a plot against Tony without without Janice's
yeah, I mean she definitely pushed him a little bit. But then she's the one that ended up killing him. Did that come to a shock to you? I mean, just blasting him right there. Like,
yeah.
You would think Tony or someone's gonna get him, and
yeah. But the funny thing is, in the show, it never goes as what you expect.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I don't really remember the exact example, but like I think in previous season it also happened like when a character is in danger like from all aspects and it died in the least expected way.
Yeah. Well, you say Tony's pretty likable. I think he becomes far less likable later seasons, but Tony does get Janice out of that. He gets rid of Richie's body. Even like Junior, he's in prison at the end of the first season, and he gets house arrest. And then they kind of, him and Junior kind of kiss and make up because he's taken some of Junior's business as, retribution, right? Really, I mean.
I don't understand. Even if they don't like make up, he's still gonna get what Junior's getting. He is under house arrest. He won't be able to like go outside and do any business. He is pretty much just done.
Well, he's got people doing business for him, but he's getting his cut of a lot of things. But when you say Tony's likable, and he is likable, and I mean they're not good people, but he's likable because he helped.
I love him.
He like gets so fucking pissed off at Janice that he helped her out
It's
when
family.
she needed it. Yeah. And Junior, he broke his hip, and he's like carrying Junior, the guy who tried to kill him last season, out of the house to take him to the hospital.
Then how come he could never? He can't even stand his mom. Can't even talk to his mom.
Well, I mean, because he just has some deep-seated hatred for his mom. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to like Tony. As the seasons go on, you can kind of see his mom in him.
Well, that's that would be very reasonable, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much you dislike some of the quality your parents have, you are raised by them, and you will probably be a lot like them.
Let's talk about some of the other subplots. How about Scantino?
Who's Scantino?
Tony's friend from childhood, who's like the gambling addict, Dave Scantino. Yeah. And
what about Dave?
Well, I mean, so this is kind of like a deep dive into how they make their money. Like,
Advantage of people.
Well, he knows he's got a gambling problem, and then they like pick his bones until
they
they
both
both know, but he
David
does have a
minus.
problem. And he, they go back to childhood. Their kids are friends. And there's like even a part where Scantino gives Tony his kid's car, and then he gives it to Meadow, knowing that she's friends with him and knows that where it's come from.
He's just insensitive, okay?
Well, he talks to Dr. Melfi and says, I'm rubbing it in her face, like subconsciously, which,
Intentional?
well, it's not intentional. It's like he doesn't understand because he doesn't realize what is subconscious. That comes around to the finale. Like, he knows pussy's a rat. He's not like telling himself the truth. But I thought that was pretty fascinating. And then, yeah, the season ends with, it just shows like a bunch of their little schemes, their illegal schemes, how they make money and stuff. I thought that was a pretty good kind of like deep dive into what they do. Like, you get like an intimate view of it.
Yeah.
And the executive card game, which I think is kind of cool because it's like something Junior and his dad ran. And
The suspect.
Yeah. I mean, you got any thoughts about the Scantino thing, that whole storyline?
No, not really. I like I said, I think Dave is just as guilty, or well, he is the one who wanted. Like, it's like you go to a casino and you like went bankrupt. Can you blame the casino? You know what it does.
Yeah, but he says this is my bread and butter. This is how I make my money, like doing this. So
It's his business, babe.
And going with the subconscious thing, another thing he did was he got tickets through him and then gave it to his mom, and that got his mom busted. That got him busted, and he knows he shouldn't. He's doing like all this shit that's like fucking up his life, basically.
But what do you as a gang member or like a boss, like you do these things. This is how you make profit. You don't work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Legit business, like.
I think that's like one of the themes of it, though. He's doing this stuff subconsciously, like.
You know it's wrong.
Yeah, he's like, I shouldn't do this because it's gonna come back to bite me in the ass, but I'm doing it anyway.
You don't think many of the people that's in the similar industry or whatever, subconsciously know that what they're doing is wrong, but they just like they weigh the pros and cons, and you're like, I'm going for it.
Yeah, we can talk about Christopher a little bit. He's got those two underlings, Sean and Matt, and yeah, they're they're
dumb and
fucking
dumber.
hilarious like, at the beginning, but
What? I hate those. I hate those two people.
You hate them? Well,
I
they
like
try to
them.
kill Christopher.
They piss me off.
Sean gets killed by Christopher during the shootout. They find out where Matt is, and Tony and Pussy kill him, which causes a whole nother thing where there's a witness and stuff, but that goes away. And then, Christopher's in the hospital, and he tells Polly and Tony that I met these guys in hell from the last season that are dead.
They're all gonna be in hell.
And then Polly has to go to a psychic and shit, and it's kind of like, it's almost like the supernatural is almost real in the Sopranos world, because he goes to see a psychic and he's like, how's the poison ivy? And like freaks the fuck out.
Which makes Polly the second, the most funny person in this show.
Poison ivy? He wants to know if it still itches.
Don't fuck with me. Who you been talking to?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Did you think Christopher was going to die? You were always worried about Christopher.
Yeah, like he has a big mouth and he is pretty reckless, and he is ambitious, but he is not patient. Which is why I am like concerned for this kid's safety from the very first episode. Okay.
The young hothead.
Yeah, exactly. And was I afraid that he was gonna die? Honestly, I wasn't super concerned, because you know how they focus on the captains and the big boss, and obviously there's gonna be supporting characters that run their business, and I feel like Christopher has always been one of the most important supporting character.
Yeah, he's a pretty fascinating character, really. Like his daddy issues when he goes to the acting thing and does that scene from Rebel Without a Cause, and then he like punches the dude that played his dad in it.
Hey.
Stop it! Yeah, and I think it would be a very linear story without him. So I wasn't really concerned that they're gonna let him go, unless they introduce a new character.
Yeah.
That can replace him, and I don't really see anybody right now. But I guess I wasn't super concerned that he was gonna actually die.
Yeah.
But I know that he would get into trouble, and I'm concerned about that.
Yeah. So let's get into Dr. Melfi. She didn't want to see Tony after she had to go on the run, had a patient kill herself, but there's a lot of scenes with her and her therapist about struggling with that. She sees him at a restaurant, sees Tony at a restaurant, and says "Toodaloo," and
Which
embarrasses
is
herself.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Toodle fucking ooh. What the fuck was that? God, I couldn't sleep all night. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah, she basically takes him back, but then she's kind of like also drinking. But I think she's just too fascinated with Tony as a person. You think they're gonna fall in love and fuck.
I did not say that. Plus, it already happened in Tony's dream.
Yeah, well, a lot of things happen in Tony's dream, don't they?
They are pretty real. Anyways, no, I never expect them to like actually fall in love and fuck. That would be like too direct. I think the thing with them is that they like their feelings and how like what they know about each other become like what's the word? Tangled.
Yeah.
So they become like inseparable, but also it's not just as simple as, you know, like love, like a couple. It don't feel that way. But Dr. Melfi brought a lot of these actual human feelings out of Tony.
Yeah. And then I don't know, some other stuff. There was like Bobby Baccalieri, who's the big dude that's with Junior all the time. He's like he's kind of like a sweetheart, you know. There's a part where he's like I don't know if it's this season or last season. You could probably tell me, but he's like he says something to Tony. And Tony's like, I don't give a fuck. And then Bobby's kind of like hurt like that. He's like, okay, I kind of give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. All right, I don't give a fuck.
He is the type of character I'm wondering how much he is getting paid by being in there, because he's not doing much, but he is always there.
He has a bigger role in later seasons, but I like his character too. It's kind of like one of the more wholesome characters, I think. But that's what the show needs. But yeah, Carmela almost cheats on Tony too, so.
That was the second time.
Yeah, and that guy that she's gonna cheat on him with was Scantino's like brother-in-law, and that gets all tangled up. There's an episode where they take a trip to Italy. That's where we meet Furio, who's another new character. What do you think of Furio? Kind of badass, like the Terminator, going in that prostitute ring and like just popping a cap in that guy's fucking knee. And
was that a prostitute ring?
Yeah, I think so. And then he just like punches that dude's wife, his fucking Filipino wife. He's like, pay me money.
Pay money.
Non te preoccupa.
And then there's Livia. She doesn't have as prominent a role, but she's always like entertaining, you know. And
that's my favorite. Okay. Did I say Polly is the
you
most
think
funny
Livia?
person? I think Livia might
yeah.
be the funniest character.
Jackie Jr. shows up. He's got a more prominent role in season 3. That's Jackie April's son.
Is there more about that kid right now?
Jackie Jr.?
Yeah, I don't really care for him.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big role in the 3rd season. So overall thoughts on season 2 and overall rating?
Rating for this freaking amazing show has always been 5 out of 5 for me.
Okay, yeah.
Rating for the main character, Tony Soprano, is 10 out of 5 for me.
Jesus. I don't think I have a graphic for that.
10 out of 5. I just really like the show. The storyline goes into a lot of direction. None of the two characters are the same. It's like they all have their very unique personality or their background story. I feel like they do like tribute each episode to maybe a certain or a few characters, and I like that. And another thing is that I feel like it never gets boring.
It's just so funny and unpredictable.
Yeah.
And,
exactly. I also like that they not only focus on the man, but they gave the female characters a lot of attention as well, and kind of explore their personality and, you know.
Yeah, you kind of see how Carmela is unhappy after talking with Pussy's wife. He's like, she explains, like, when he came back from when he disappeared in the 1st season, like, she just wanted to crawl out of her skin and she didn't want him back. And then the same thing happens when Tony comes back from Italy. It's like, I'm home, and then she just has this look on her face. But yeah, I'll give it 5 out of 5. I think this is one of the stronger seasons. You know, this is where it hits its stride as a show. Like the first episode of Sopranos doesn't feel like a Sopranos show to me, but yeah, it definitely finds its this is where it starts to hit its stride. I mean, I'm watching these over again after 20 years, but I think season 3 is probably my favorite from before, but after this I'll probably reevaluate all that. But yeah, 5 out of 5. I gave the first season 4.5 out of 5. But
You're not a true Soprano fan.
yeah, you're right. I'm just not going to watch the rest of it. But yeah.
Come here. Oh.
You remember one thing this you better hear. I'm the one who calls the shots.
You gotta move.
And that's our review of season 2 of The Sopranos. If you want to watch more, hit that bell icon. We're going to watch all of the seasons, including the movie.
How many seasons are there?
6, I think. And yeah, hit that subscribe button, join our Discord. It's in the link below. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye.